I've been a cashier at a grocery store in suburban Michigan for 2 years. It's a mundane job, scanning items, bagging groceries, dealing with the occasional cranky customer. The store's busy most days, filled with chatter and cartwheels squeaking. I never thought something terrifying could happen in broad daylight, but in April 2024, during a morning shift, I experienced something that's made me dread stepping behind the register. It was around 10 a.m., a typical Tuesday rush. I was at Register 5, scanning a customer's groceries, when I heard my name whispered, clear, like someone was standing right beside me. I turned, expecting a coworker, but no one was there, just the customer, who didn't seem to notice. The whisper came again, louder, from the direction of the empty aisle behind me. I ignored it, focusing on the barcode scanner, but my hands were trembling. The store was bright, sunlight streaming through the windows, yet I felt a chill, like a draft from nowhere. During my break, I mentioned it to my manager, who laughed it off, saying the store's speakers sometimes pick up weird feedback. But as I returned to my register, the whispers started again, now forming words.
Stay here.
I scanned faster, avoiding eye contact with the aisles. Then I saw her, a woman in a gray coat, standing at the end of aisle 7, staring at me. She was pale, her eyes too wide, unblinking. I blinked, and she was gone. My heart raced, but customers were waiting, so I kept working, telling myself it was stress. An hour later, the whispers turned into a low hum, like a crowd murmuring, coming from the stockroom. I asked a coworker to check, but he found nothing, just boxes and fluorescent lights. Around noon, I was restocking bags when the store's PA system crackled, and my own voice echoed through the speakers.
Come to the back.
I froze, nobody was at the mic, and my manager was on the floor, nowhere near it. Customers looked confused, but nobody else seemed to hear my name in the message. I avoided the stockroom, but the whispers followed, now from the ceiling, the floor, even the scanner. By 1 p.m., I was a wreck, jumping at every sound. I glanced at the security monitor behind the register, and there she was, the woman in the gray coat, standing in aisle 7 again, closer, her head tilted unnaturally. The screen flickered, and she was gone. I told my manager I felt sick and left early, practically running to my car. The next day, I came back, bills don't pay themselves. The whispers were quieter but still there, and the woman appeared in glimpses, on monitors, in reflections on the glass doors. I checked the store's old records and found a news clipping from 1998. A cashier had died in the stockroom, crushed by falling shelves. No photo, but the description mentioned a gray coat. I don't know if it's her, but I feel her watching. Last week, I found a receipt in my pocket I didn't keep, with, "Stay here," scrawled on it. I'm looking for a new job, but every time I scan groceries, I hear that whisper, and I'm terrified she'll follow me wherever I go. I've been a construction worker in Denver for 6 years, mostly on high-rise projects. It's tough work, long hours, heavy equipment, and constant noise. You get used to the chaos, but you're always alert for danger. In June 2024, during an afternoon shift, something happened on a news site that's made me question what's real, and I can't step onto a scaffold without feeling watched. It was around 3 p.m., a sunny day, the site buzzing with cranes and welders. I was on the 15th floor, installing rebar, when my walkie-talkie crackled with static. I figured it was interference, happens with all the metal around, but then a voice came through, low and distorted, "Look down." I stopped, glancing over the edge. Nothing but the usual, workers below, trucks moving dirt. I keyed the mic, asking, "Who's this?" No answer, just static. The voice came again an hour later, clearer.
Look down now.
I was tying steel beams, sweat dripping, and ignored it, thinking someone was pranking me. But my coworker, Mike, overheard it on his walkie, too, and he looked spooked. We checked with the foreman, no one was on our channel. Around 4 p.m., I felt a tug on my safety harness, like someone pulled it. I spun around. Nobody there, just open air and the city skyline. My harness was clipped tight, no way it could have moved. By 5 p.m., the voice was relentless, repeating, "Look down," every few minutes, now sounding like it was right beside me. I climbed down to the ground, needing a break, but the walkie kept going, even when I turned it off. At the site office, I checked the log, no unassigned radios, no explanation. As I left, I saw something on the 15th floor's scaffold, a figure, tall and shadowy, standing where I'd been. I blinked, and it was gone, but my skin crawled. The next day, the voice was back, now whispering my name. I avoided the upper floors, but the tug on my harness happened again, stronger, like it wanted to pull me over the edge. I told the foreman, who said the site was built on an old factory lot, abandoned after a fire in the 70s. I looked it up. Dozens died, some workers never accounted for. That night, my walkie, unplugged at home, turned on, hissing, "You didn't look." I smashed it, but the voice lingered in my head. I'm still on the crew, but I stick to groundwork. Last month, I found a photo in my toolbox, me on the 15th floor that day, with a shadow behind me, its hand on my harness. I didn't take it. Now, when I'm on site, I feel that tug, and I know something's waiting for me to look down. I've been a janitor at a middle school in Texas for 3 years. It's steady work, cleaning classrooms, mopping halls, mostly after hours. The school's old, built in the 50s, with creaky pipes and dim lights, but I never minded. In September 2024, during an evening shift, something happened in room 204 that's made me afraid to be alone in that building. It was around 6 p.m., still light outside, but the halls were empty, classes long over. I was vacuuming room 204, a math classroom with posters of equations and desks in neat rows. As I worked, I heard a giggle, like a kid's, coming from the corner. I turned off the vacuum, looking around, nobody there, just chalk dust floating in the air. I figured it was my imagination, maybe an echo from outside, and kept cleaning. The giggle came again, sharper, now from the chalkboard. I checked the hall, empty, doors locked. Back in the room, the air felt heavy, and the lights flickered, casting weird shadows on the walls. I noticed the chalkboard wasn't blank anymore. Scrawled in messy handwriting was, "Stay and play." My heart skipped. I erased it, chalk smudging my hands, and the giggle turned into whispers, too many voices to count, all saying my name. I grabbed my cart, ready to leave, but the door wouldn't budge, like it was jammed. The whispers grew louder, coming from the desks, and when I looked, the chairs were shifted, arranged in a circle, facing me. I yanked the door harder, and it flew open, but the whispers followed me down the hall. At the janitor's closet, I checked the security footage. Room 204's camera showed static, but for a second, I saw shapes in the noise, like kids sitting in that circle, staring at the lens. The next evening, I avoided 204, but my keys went missing, and I found them on the floor outside that room. The door was open, and the chalkboard read, "You didn't stay." I quit the next day, took a job at a warehouse, but I still dream of those whispers. Last week, I got a letter, no return address, just a child's drawing of me in room 204, surrounded by faceless figures. I don't know what they want, but when I'm alone, I hear giggles, and I feel those desks watching me.